Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we are playing 4-color Beanstalk control with pest control and no Tamiyo. I decided that I just didn't want to play Tamiyo in this build because we've already got lots of card draw, and Tamiyo costs a lot of mana to maintain, and also I'm kind of frankly bored with her, and not playing her allows us to play pest control. So this destroys all non-land permanents with mana value 1 or less. It has a pretty high floor in that you can just pay 2 mana and cycle it if you want to. One of the biggest problems with Beanstalk decks is the preponderance of Orcish Bowmaster, but we have our own Orcish Bowmasters, so we can shoot down opposing Bowmasters, maintain Bowmaster superiority, and continue to draw our cards. We've got a lot of cards that trigger Beanstalk here. We've got Murktide, very trusty way to win the game quickly. We have Quantum Riddler, and I've got 4 Lorien revealed. This card is really good as a way to just win the game, essentially. Just get so ahead in value that you just win. And then, of course, we've got the Leyline Bindings that also trigger, and we have lots of ways of getting 4 colors, or 5 colors even, so that we can use those ley lines. So the deck essentially just splashes green for up the Beanstalk, just splashes black for Bowmasters and some Thoughtseize and Carpets in the side. And otherwise, it's just a blue-white deck, but it's almost completely blue if you look at it. The sideboard is 3 Force Negations, 3 Hydroblasts in case we run into Moonstompy. I don't want to be completely dead to that. I have played some 4-color Beanstalk piles that don't have any basics, but since we have so many ways to get our basic island, even under a Blood Moon, we can potentially blast our way out. And then we've got 3 Consigns, and that's the sideboard. We also have Terminus if we go against a creature-heavy build. We're up against an unknown opponent. We got a slow hand, but that's all our deck does, is slow hands. So I think this is a very simple keep. And we could Lorien if we want to. We could just chill. I mean, this doesn't have any interaction, though. Leyline Binding is pretty nice in the sense that we could just grab our Grixis land in the end step, and then we could go grab... Yeah, and then we could have 1 mana and essentially Leyline Bind through days. I think I'm going to keep that. I mean, lands are really our path to victory. We don't know what we're up against. I would hate to mull into oblivion trying to find lands because we got greedy. A 4-lander is not that bad when you're a control deck. Our opponent mulls to 6. They say they're a fan of the channel. You've helped a lot of my homies get into Legacy. Awesome. Thanks for telling me this. All right. So that's what it's all about, getting more people into Legacy. People have been saying Legacy's a dead format for like 20 years, basically, as the reserve list heralds, but we persist. Now, I am playing some reserve list cards today, but check out my no reserve list videos as well. I've got a lot of them. I'm going to go ahead and get so I only have 2 EDB tap lands. I'm not playing a Surveil land here. And the reason I'm not playing a Surveil land is I like to be able to cast my spells. I'm just going to get the lounge out. Like, that's always... yeah, and we have so much card draw and so much selection anyway. It's not really that big of a deal. I like just playing this out, and then I have the option. But I am going to go ahead and use the Ponder here. And I'm just going to probably look for like a Plow or a Force or a freaking Beanstalk. Yeah, these are great. So I'm just trying to think. I mean, Beanstalk is definitely the most important card here. So I'll just take that, and I'll hope that they don't have a Thoughtseize. But they are representing Thoughtseize colors. But I feel like if they have a Thoughtseize in their opener, they would have cast it by now. Because it's usually like a turn 1 play. So we could go grab Savannah, and then we could Leyline something, but I'd much rather get Beans down first. And next turn is shaping up to potentially be a Beans into Leyline turn. Okay, it looks like we're against the very potent red-white deck. You may hear piano in the background. That is my daughter practicing for an upcoming performance. She is 10 years old. She loves... Okay, yeah, further indication that we're against that deck. Okay, Hexing Squelcher is annoying. However, I can just clear him, so it's not that big of a deal. I will let him be on the table because I do want to draw the extra card here. We can take a Brainstorm. There's a Brainstorm on top of our deck. Yeah, and that gives us something to do with this extra card that we may or may not need. So first things first, play this out. I am going to go get a Savannah, thus completing the trifecta, but I could just get a Trop. Yeah, I think I just get the Trop here, and then I have Tundra up so I can still Leyline Mine. So we're drawing wild. Force would be welcome because I can clear this, and then Force. Dual land, or fetch land is fine. I will most likely just be Leyline Binding so I don't have to deal with this. But I can wait and see what they put on the stack before they attack. If they attack, I'll just go ahead and pay the life to get rid of it. Okay. They may have Witch Enchanter in their deck. That is a card that could be pretty good against my deck because I've got a lot of enchantments. Ajani, that is fine. Oh, they can sacrifice it immediately to flip it. So unfortunately, yeah, they can do this at instant speed. Yeah, I needed to do the trigger. So I'll let this attack. Gosh. You know, I might be able to race Ajani. They lose this creature. They have 1 mana of any color. This is going to be a pain because I'm going to take a ton of damage from it. I think I do want to just go ahead and leyline bind it. And then I can desperately dig for another leyline binding, but I just don't want to take a bunch of damage, frankly. So we draw another brainstorm, which is nice. We can kind of slice and dice through our deck. I will find the other leyline binding and I will clear this, but I'm fully aware that they can do this and then they get another body. I just don't want to take too much damage. I don't have Solitude in my deck to gain life. Like the only way I can gain life is plowing my own creatures, which is not generally something I want to do. So if they have a way to clear this, they can get that back and that'll be really annoying. They should go ahead and sack it and just make the new dude. Probably just to go ahead and flip it and start getting the loyalty. But it actually doesn't create any loyalty when they do that. Okay, they got green mana here. What does that mean? They may have just clicked whatever because they're not going to use the mana. Okay, they get a new dude. We're in a pretty good position with this Beanstalk out. So a Bowmaster would be pretty good here if we can find one. I think what I want to do is just start with a Brainstorm here. It doesn't look like they're playing the black version. Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. So I'll just put this back for sure. I don't need that land. I do like having multiple Bowmasters. And I could, yeah, I can only deploy one this turn cycle. I think the card that goes back is just the Brainstorm here. It is probably the Ponder. Yeah. I'll play this out. Pass. There's no reason to ping this now, I don't think. I'm going to force, if they put something like really nasty on the stack, like Raptor, I'll force that. All right, my daughter just exclaimed that she can't play perfectly and that essentially my wife's standards are too high. Voice of Victory. No, thank you. I am not a fan of this card. I think the simple thing to do is just pitch the Brainstorm. It's the least impactful card in my hand. I do need to fetch or I'm going to draw one of those lands that I put on top, and I don't really want that, so I'll just do that. I'll go get an Underground Sea. Oh, I could put Mystic Sanctuary on top, but the force is not in my yard yet. Yeah, I'm just going to grab a Underground Sea here. Okay, I probably should have actually grabbed a White Source here. I think I punted. Okay, Guided Souls is really annoying. This card is really good. Yeah, I think I just have to let this go. When they try to do the thing, I mean, I probably just had to poke this. Yeah, I'll let this come in. They gain an energy, they gain a life. This is a cognitively difficult matchup. There's a lot of decisions I'll have to make here. They're going to attack. So I can ping one and I can block the other. They should probably see a Bowmaster coming. They do. That is good for them. I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm here in the instep. Okay. And now, yeah, I am going to go ahead and Brainstorm. No, I'm going to go ahead and cycle. I can cycle this and put, yeah, I can just get the Mystic Sanctuary and I can put Force on top of my deck. I think that's good. All right, so we draw. Felia is nice, for sure. Let's just put our Force on top. I very much like having Force on top. I could put Lorien on top, but Force is insulation. Okay, and now what I can do is, I think I just ping this and attack this, and they're like basically forced to take 2 on it. I think that's an okay play. And it is kind of telegraphing what I'm going to do. But I'm going to take 2 loyalty off of it. And now they can create another body. I think I go ahead and Riddler here, because I have a blue card. I've already made my land drop though. But there's a decent chance I draw like either a plow. Maybe I should have done that before, but I am in a riddle. And then I could just play it out later. I mean, I could also just Felia in the instep. But riddle gives me the force. Yeah, and I'll just cast this like on a future turn. Pest Control. This is a 2-drop, unfortunately. Yeah, so I'm a little shot. We'll see what they do here. But now I have a clean way to like clear this. I will lose my Bowman or my Orc Army. That's not a big deal. Pest Control. What a great freaking rip. Okay, they can waste one of my lands, probably my white land. And that's actually a problem if they do that. Okay, Voice of Victory. Again, I would rather not deal with you. You are a very annoying card for a blue deck to face. I hope you can understand that. Plow. Okay. All right, so I can just plow this, and then I've got a very clean beeline attack. Let's go ahead and let this go first. They're going to get an energy, and then we'll see what they reveal, and then I can plow this. I just want to make sure that like they're not finding another Voice of Victory. You got to be kidding me. I can't stand this card. Gosh, this card is so freaking annoying. Yeah, I have to plow now or forever hold my plow. Well, I'm going to just plow this because this card is just like, this is the card you really need to stop. The Voice of Victory is just like a compounding kind of effect. Unfortunately, Pest Control does nothing here. I will attack. Okay, now they can bomb one of my dudes. Yeah, maybe I should have plowed this, but like, yeah, that's fine. Pest Control will clear that. But I do need to clear one of these as well if I want to kill a Johnny, and I do. Okay, so let's think about this. So we can just Quantum Riddler draw, and then we have a big body, but I think they're going to get so many creatures. Yeah, there's no fruitful attack here. I could play up that Felia, but then they'll just kill it. Unfortunately, yeah, I think what I need to do is I need to find a plow desperately. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and fetch just in case. Yeah, I'll just fetch. I'm going to grab a plow or another Tundra. I guess technically I can grab a Savannah since I've already used my thing. Yeah, let's do that. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go like this. I'm going to play this card out. I'm not in a good position at all, actually, because that Voice of Victory came down. And there are like lots of nasty things they could draw here. Force is a great rip if I get to my turn. So I get a card. I'm probably leaving a lot of value on the table that I'm just not even seeing. This is draw 3 next turn. We're not dead, but like this is going to be a serious pain in the butt. Because it can dome me for 4. But I don't think they can get through this. But they're going to do a ton of damage. They still got 2 cards in their hand that I can't interact with, unfortunately. I didn't have the mana to play Ophelia. Had I played this in a different order, I could have Felia'd when Voice went out. But then they would have killed Felia with a Johnny. If I can clear Amp Raptor, then a Johnny doesn't have the ability anymore. I can't do anything about that, but that's just some life gain. It's not that big of a deal. Like, I'll take the life. They could put +1/+1 counter on all. Is it all cats? Yeah. So they have more stuff. Oh, this is another Amp Raptor? Oh, this is brutal. Absolutely brutal. Unfortunately, it's a 2-drop, so it doesn't die. Everything like on the board that's important is a 2-drop here. We could die very quickly here. Because they can throw a Johnny. So I'm going to double block, actually. If they don't just shoot these immediately. I don't care about these bodies. I care about minimizing damage. Okay. Are they going to let me go to blocks? Or are they just going to shoot them? Okay. And they will almost certainly just shoot. Okay. Yeah. All right. We took out one of the cats. That's a win. All right. They hit me for 5. That's a lot. I'm an 8. So you can see why I blocked there. So they can shoot twice, and I'll be at 6. All right, can they kill me this turn? Like, this deck is just insane. It's an insane deck. You would think that we'd be, like, in a pretty strong position, but I'm not convinced that we are. So, if we can clear this, we're still dead to what's on the table. I think we do have to Lorien revealed here. Because I need more cards. I don't have an answer. I'll draw 4 cards. Bowmaster finishes this off. I think I'm going to go ahead and play out the green, and I'm just going to tap like this. And this way, Bowmaster can at least finish this off, and then we'll have enough blockers that we won't die. Oh. Yeah, so we killed the Voice of Victory, but I think we're still dead, unfortunately. We have Bowmaster. Yeah, Bowmaster finishes this off, and then, yeah, I think we have enough blockers to survive if we do that. If I could plow this, I'd have other options, but I think I'm almost certainly dead, unfortunately. But I am going to go ahead and kill this Ajani. I think we're like super duper dead. Yeah, it's just like we were just like 1 turn away, basically mana-wise. And we were on the play, so I don't have that excuse. And I've also expended a ton of my clock. But I feel like if we can get through this wave of attacks, we'll survive. But let's see. 1, 2... Yeah, like they'd have to draw dead here. But if they do draw dead, I've got, like, I can get myself out of range. Caracas is very good against Arphelia. Oh, they can bring back one of their creatures with this query. And then I think we're dead. They just bring back a voice. Oh, they bring back that. Yeah, that's game. Yeah, because they can just... Yeah, and I can't interact because of freaking Voice of Victory. This card's so annoying. All right. So, again, I might run out of time here. Hydroblast, get in the deck. I need to play very quickly. I think I am going to keep Pest Control in the deck. Cards that are coming out. Murktide is a way that we can just win, which is pretty important. I think Riddler might be too slow. And it also gets Hydroblasted. I think I'll trim a couple Riddlers. I never trim Force when I have Beanstalk. It's just too good. I think I could trim Felia just because... Yeah, I think I go like that. And you might be wondering, how are you even going to win? We'll just get a protected Murktide and we'll win. The number one thing is just slow them down or stop them. This is a Beanstalk hand. I'm going to keep this. I'm not thinking a whole lot. I'm just going to Xander's Lounge and then I'll play the Beanstalk next turn. Just get this tapped land out of play. And Plow is like an excellent card against their deck. They are opting to waste me, which is great for me because I've got tons of land. Okay, Hydroblast is a great rip. So I think the play here is just... I don't want to run out. I'll just play this out. I should not waver here. Doesn't really matter. I'm almost certainly just going to Plow in the end step. Like whatever they put out, just for momentum. Then I'm going to get Beans out. Let's say I have a second Wasteland. The Guide is the main thing I just want to kill really badly here. And it looks like Guide. Great. Great that I have an answer for this. This card just gets completely out of control if you don't. This, especially with like Guide of Souls and the Ocelot or whatever his name is, Johnny, it gets really crazy really fast. All right, so here we're just going to go ahead and go up the Beanstalk. And next turn we have Hydroblast to deal with things. Leyline Binding is a great pickup. It will cost 2 mana for the rest of the game because they did waste our Xander's Lounge. But I can play the Underground Sea and have 2 mana Leyline Binding plus Hydroblast up. Beautiful choice of planes. They're up 5 minutes. Part of that was because I was doing the deck tech. That's unfortunate, but it will wear off. And I'll get another draw trigger. I'm just going to play a land and chill. I'm not going to do anything here. Because I want to have Hydroblast up. I want to have Brainstorm up. Brainstorm doesn't even do anything, though. Because my hand is pretty much perfect. Ocelot Pride. All right. That's probably something I need to remove. I think I'll just chill and see what they do. I could just get my Beanstalk back with that. I have... yeah, I think I let them have this. They're not that close to getting the... We'll see if they go straight to combat. Okay, I'm going to definitely stop this. I don't want to deal with this. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Leyline Bind. And I will deal with the fact that I don't have an answer. I just don't want this to get out of control. I'm not playing like a very smart control player. I'm just playing like a clock obsessed freak here. I need to win 2 games in a row. Oh, they have another one. Okay, well... I have Brainstorm to find me something good here. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's go ahead and do it. It is yeah, I'm just going to do it and I'll get my thing back. So I get my Beanstalk back. I draw a card. Lorien Revealed. I think I'm just going to play this out and I can instep and Lorien Revealed draws me 4 cards. So like what would I freak out about? If they put, gosh, like a Johnny is about to come out, like if he comes out, then they can immediately flip. This card is so annoying. I'm going to let it go. I'm just going to trust in the fact that like I'm about to draw 4 cards. What did they find? They found a Pyroblast, which does nothing. That's freaking lucky. All right. Yeah. And I took out my Felia in anticipation. I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm here just for momentum. All right, I could just end step. Well, I can clear that next turn. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and do. I do need a land. I'll take the draw and then I'll fetch. I think I'm going to go ahead and... Yeah, I'm just going to cast it now while they don't have Pyroblast up. That would be really annoying since we know they have it. I will grab a Tundra here. I could put a... Yeah, I'll just chill for now. And we're going to go ahead and do this. And we're very far ahead. So it's just a matter of not losing to some, sideboard card. All right, we drew a land, and that's pretty good. So we have Force Blue card. We've got Plow next turn. I'll take a hit from this, and then we'll just start Bowmastering them. And then we'll just beat them down with Bowmasters. They are low enough in cards that we can just outdraw them from here. Yeah, that's a force for me. Actually, I don't need a force. I can just Plow during my turn. I'll just chill. I will Plow that, and then I can also take out the Amped Raptor, and then I'll have force up for subsequent threats. Let's go ahead and do that. I'll play this out. I'll pass with double Bowmasters up. I could just force it. I was thinking about this. So I think they're going to use the ability, and then I can just ping that with the ability on the stack. I think that's how it works. And then I could just kill it, and I don't need to force it. Or I could just force it and draw a card. I think let's just do that. let's not get too fancy here. They can bring it back, which is annoying, but like I'll deal with it when they bring it back too. Yeah, I think I was getting over complicating things. Let's just stop the extremely powerful, especially because they have Karakas. That makes it more complicated. I don't want to get overly clever. Like, it is great to hold on to a force, but they're down to one card. Okay, they're just sacrificing it so that I don't get the creature. That's fine. They need one more mana, I think, to be able to bring back the big guy. I'm just going to chill with this as a removal spell. I'm just going to take it slow. I can bring back a Lorien Revealed. Well, that's a good draw. Green, blue, draw trigger. Brainstorm would help me put some lands back. Draw another land. We'll just attack for 1 and we'll pass. I don't think they have Felia or anything like that. They don't have Felia mana. So I'll just start chipping away. I need to find a Murktide and then that'll seal the game. But I don't have the force to protect Murktide. Combo Bombardment, okay. What's your other card? I think they just have like a land or something. Let's go ahead and put a Lorien Revealed on top and I'll draw 5 cards. They don't have Hydroblast up. Lorien Revealed. Okay. And again, I'm just going to hold the Bowmasters. Blue. Lorien Revealed. Draw 5. Wow, there's a lot of freaking land, but we did find a Hydroblast, which is nice. Let's cross over and we have Hydroblast and Double Force. I'm not going to let them get anything through. They are going to bring back a Johnny as soon as they find a land. It's fine. Well, I'm going to do the same thing I did, and they can respond if they'd like. You know what? If I just ping this, they can't ping my dude. I do want to get rid of this eventually. So now they just sack it, and they get 0 value. But I am going to do that. I genuinely don't know what they're holding. It could be a Pyroblast. I guess not. They can still sack. I just don't want them to have a card that's going to grow over time. This increases my damage output by, or onefold rather, or a non-fancy way of saying it, it doubles my damage output. Okay, 8 minutes to their 14. Got to scramble here. Okay, pest control probably won't do anything in this match. I'm actually just going to cycle it. I need to find like a brainstorm. Okay, Merc. Blue, draw 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't really matter. I don't have any ways to get cards back now that I've used my Mystic Sanctuary. The only thing I use my graveyard for is Merc, but it is nice to have something in my deck that involves Merc. I'm very far ahead. I've only got 1 force up currently, but they're very dead to this Merc. Yep, and that's going to be a force. And then I'm just 1 shy of being able to hardcast the other force. Okay, come on, blue card. Oh, no blue card. Well, that sucks. They may be able to untap force again. Or a plow again, and that will drag out the game dramatically. They drew a Pyro. It does drag out the game. All right, I'm going to just Bowmaster them. I'm worried about my clock. They're hellbent. So I'll hit them for 4 each turn, and that should be a few turns while they're basically top decking. Gosh, with so many lands. I will play this out so I get an extra card when I force. It's not trivial. I'm not going to deck myself. At this point, I can just play at the island. I don't have... Oh, there's a good card. Let's go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exactly enough to make a full-size boy. They're dead. There's like nothing they can draw. They can get through my force and stop Murktide. They can get a land and they can make the dude, but I'll just attack around it. 6 minutes on the clock. This last game is going to be a real rush. Okay, they didn't make me play that, which is a gentlemanly thing to do. Yeah, I like this configuration. As I said, the way the game ends is we just empty their hand and then we kill them with a Murktide. And that's precisely what happened. This is the premier aggro deck in the format that we're facing. That and Affinity, they're both extremely strong. And aggro decks have traditionally been controlled by control decks, but the fire design is real. We've got Hexing Squelcher. We've got lots of cards that shut down our ability to interact. Of course, a Johnny dodges a lot of interaction, especially when you have a way to immediately sack and immediately flip him. At any point, when you have Crocus, he's just extremely savable. This hand is... This is okay. I'll keep it. I need to put this Terminus on top. They mulled a 6. So I've got 7 minutes. Again, if they like spew all their cards onto the table and I can Terminus them, it's great. I have to let that go. I just have to wait. All right, there's the brainstorm. Love to see it. So I'm just going to brainstorm and I'm going to put it on top. I don't have the luxury of grabbing... I need to make sure I have white. Well, let's see. We'll see how many things if they like go... They get Raptor into something big. I think this is going to be... Yeah, I do want to Solitude these away. Just get a 2-for-1. And then I can bring this back later. So I'll Tundra here. And I will Brainstorm. Pest Control is nice for later. I'll put back some of these lands that I don't want. Well, I do want green. I guess I technically want black too for Pest Control. I guess green's the least useful color. I'll draw. Right, that comes in. Get some energy. I'm going to take out the 2 best creatures basically here. I could wait and do more, but it's just not. I feel like I need to just get the 2-for-1 where I can and stay alive. Wait, how do I click it? Oh, I click it from my hand. Okay, sorry. So we clear those. All right, now I think the simple thing to do is go ahead and just play this out and ponder. And I've got a land on top. I think we just don't need these. Yeah, and we drew a land anyway, so it's fine. We have Pest Control up if they do like double... If they play anything that can be killed with Pest Control, I'll probably kill it. All right, this is bad. I could have forced their... What do they reveal? Sand Scout. Okay, that's annoying too. I'll let that resolve. So we're not taking any damage immediately. Fetch land. Oh, that's good. I actually think whenever one or more lands put into your graveyard, unfortunately, so they are going to get the body for it. Play this one out, I guess, and I'll pass into their turn. Man, they could get multiple bodies here. Think I just wait. I just really don't want them to play some insane creature and then my plow to not be used. I can cast a Leyline Binding for 3 mana if I need to. Interesting, blue is in their deck. Well, I have that land. They may be playing Mockingbird. Okay, that's really annoying because that creates a dude and it kills my Tundra. All right, just targeting that. Yeah, I'll go ahead and float and I'll just... Actually, that makes it so I have to pay 3 for the Leyline Binding. These aren't Leyline Bind worthy cards, in my humble opinion. I was just going to go ahead and... it feels bad, but it's efficient use of mana. Then I can Lorien Revealed, get another land. I don't know. I'm really questioning my gameplay decisions here. I'll take 3. I don't want to Pest Control until they play another land out. I think I just play a land and chill. Bowmasters is pretty phenomenal. We'll see what they do here. Bowmasters can ping and then I can just double block them. Caracas, it's a victory. I think we have to force this. They're getting low on cards. Yeah, I just don't want to deal with this card. I have a Pyroblast. That is seriously annoying. So that resolves. And then I'll just Bowmaster real quick before that comes in and I'll ping the Amped Raptor. And then if they want to attack, I can trade. I'll trade with 1. 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Again, I'm sweating the clock. That's the main thing I'm worried about here. Since the other one will die to Pest Control, but I won't be able to Pest Control during their turn. Man, what am I doing here? So this puts Terminus on top. I think we just wait a turn cycle and let them have a turn and then we Terminus again. But I am worried that they'll draw a Wasteland. I can always just cycle my Pest Control. I can always trade with this if I need to. I probably will trade with this, but I don't have a way to kill them. All right, so they're attacking with this. Okay, if that dies, I'll take 3. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cycle this first. I don't even want to... Yeah, I am going to cycle this because they're down to 1 card. Quantum Riddler. If their last card is Pyro, it's really bad for me. I think I go ahead and just put the... I'm going to go ahead and just put Plow on top. Yeah, and I'll just Plow this. And then I can Riddle after I plowed, and then I'll get 2 cards instead of 1, unless they have exactly Pyroblast, which they likely do based on the way they're playing. 2 minutes on the clock. There's no way I'm winning. Wow, we're in. That's great. Hydroblast, love it. And yeah, we can Leyline Bind if we need to. Yeah, we have the 2 mana Leyline Bind. So next turn I can play this out and we can just try to beat them down. Hopefully their last card is a red card. Okay, land. Right, red. Another voice. Okay. I'm going to go get my... I'm just going to go ahead and remove her before I try to play out. Well, maybe I should play this out. Leyline Binding. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. I can't really wait around. Like, it blunts their offensive. It's not legendary, thankfully. Draw trigger. I'll play a land, so now I've got Hydroblast up, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to have to F6 through the turn. I'm down to 1 white source, which is really troubling. What is this? That's not the worst. I'm at 8 life. Oh, they found that. Yeah, they get that out of their deck. So they can bring back Amp Raptor, but it's not cast, so they don't get the trigger. It's Beans. And then I'm just going to start removing their cards. I want another white card, please. Well, that gives me white. Let's go get a Tundra, and I'm just going to remove both of these. White, Leyline Mining, trigger, another Beanstalk. I will play that out next turn. It's out first. I'm going to go ahead and do this now before they can make bodies. Okay, that's great. That adds pressure. I'll hold up Hydroblast. I can instep if they Amp Raptor. Again, since it's not cast, it doesn't have the trigger. That's the only thing they can bring back. Let's see what they top deck. Hexing Squelcher comes in. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this in the instep. I'll hit them. That'll clear the Squelcher. They can bring it back. I'll pay the 2 life. Tackle. I can't F6, unfortunately, because I do need a force if they have something really good. I think they're just going to use the query to bring back stuff. I could F6 here. I don't think it's correct because they could have like a plow and that would wreck me. I'll just F6 from here. That's fine. They get some energy. It doesn't do anything. Couldn't have F6 that. That's a 4/4. Sadly, I think I have to like Beanstalk. They have a card in hand too. I'm going to un-F6, but it's too late. I think by the time like I get priority, the spell will have already resolved. I shouldn't have F6'd. I thought they were going for Hexing Squelcher. That's why I did it. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to lose due to time. Yeah, they have it. Wait, I can counter it. Okay, good. My F6 worked. All right. We found a plow. That's great. So there's plow and attack twice. I'll actually have to attack 3 times. Again, like playing super suboptimally. I'm going to F6 through the turn. There's nothing I can do. They find something. Okay, that's a good card. Now I have to attack in the air. Leyline Mining, that simplifies things. 32 seconds. Come on. Hydroblast is a good card. F6. I can't keep up Hydro. I've got 23 seconds. I just have to F6 through their turn. Actually, I'm going to... Okay, it's a Wasteland. We did it. That was insanely close. Brought to you by me being super late. Yeah, if I joined a little earlier. Yeah, and I always do my deck techs while like I queue and then I do my deck techs because sometimes it takes like 4 or 5 minutes to queue in, and sometimes I finish early. In this case, I redid my deck tech, but had I chosen to redo it another time, like this is a slow deck. I'm a slow player, and this does happen sometimes. But man, those were really good. This is a very good endorsement of my strategy to like, oh, just take out all your win cons and trust that you're going to be able to win with whatever once you essentially have them living off the top of their deck. Like we can always outvalue once the game reaches that point. Good showing for Terminus, 2 for wanting them. Pest Control, I just cycled it, but you know, it could have killed some stuff. Maybe it's not as good as I thought it was. There wasn't any moment where I was just like, oh yeah, Pest Control. But it's easy to imagine a situation where one of these Ocelot Prides did get kind of wild, and then I was able to clear it. So great start to the league. See you in round 2. Round 2, we're up against an unknown opponent. This hand's fine. I'm going to keep it. Opponent has kept as well. This is one of those hands where I do wish I had a Surveil land in the deck, but I can just grab the Xander's Lounge, and that way I don't draw it. Scrub land. Okay, so likely a Bowmaster matchup, unfortunately. Bowmaster is probably the best card against our deck. So we got a good rip in up the Beanstalk. We're almost certainly going to be casting that next turn. Okay, Silent Clearing. What is this? That sucks. So I have 2 options. 1, I could just let them take the Beanstalk, which they almost certainly will. 2, I could fight. I think it's worth just letting it take it because I've got Quantum Riddler next turn anyway. Are they... Pass the test. Therapy. Well, that sucks. Yeah, there goes Riddler. I'm not going to fight. The problem with these types of cards is you should never fight, basically. Force of Will is just not a winning proposition in these types of situations. Okay. So we'll go get the... Yeah, I mean, that might be enough, especially if they have a follow-up threat. They can grab whatever's left in our hand. So I'll go ahead and get Xander's Lounge. I mean, if they waste, it's fine. I've got tons of mana. I can pay for Leyline Binding. Come on, good card. All right. So we are just going to play this. That way we can, potentially... Man, I probably shouldn't have played that. I probably should have just played... No, I needed white. The only path to white is the fetch. Because they're on the 3-color version. I'm going to force this. They're low enough in cards that then, like, it's a body. Not only does it stop that, but it's also a body for other stuff. Now I just have to hope to get lucky, unfortunately. Brainstorm would be phenomenal here. Orcish Bowmasters, not exceptional. Let's play that out and we'll pass. Yeah, because they would have gotten a body off the Cabal Therapy and been able to take out my Leyline Binding. As is, though, I fetch a Tundra, and then I can Bowmaster and Leyline Binding, and then there's nothing left for them to take from me. They're just doing that well. I think if they have a Bowmaster, they're baiting me. I'm going to do it, though. They may not expect it, but they may just be masterfully baiting me into being able to ping my Bowmaster here. But this gives me pressure if they don't have it. They do, of course, have it. Oh, wait, is this just a plow? Deal. Okay, they don't seem to have anything. That's great for me. I'll just chill. If I draw a Brainstorm, I'm going to want to use it. Oh, gosh, this sucks. Well, I'll just play out this land and attack for 1. I mean, we might as well apply some pressure here. We get the plow out of their hand, which means if we do get like fairly late into the game, Murktide can do a lot of work here. Sculpture, land. Okay, I'm glad they're flooded so hard. The mana efficient thing to do is to go ahead and Leyline Bind, because I could draw like a Riddler, and I'd feel silly for not having just gone ahead and done this. I'm going to have to take 2 life either way. They may be able to clear that with the energy spell, whatever it's called. Static Prison. All right, not happy about that. I'm going to play that out. It doesn't hurt to have the land. Come across. We're very lucky that they're so flooded. They're fetching a 13. This is going to be a Surveil land. If they have Blood Moon in their sideboard, it's almost certainly coming in here. I mean, just look at our mana base. Well, they kept... This is a very good card. That's fine. I'll just let it go. I don't care. All right, I'm just going to end-step Leyline this. I'll pay the extra. You don't leave this around. This is the best card in their deck. All right. We're just shy of being able to hardcast that, unfortunately. We'll just hope to draw better cards. Yeah, we're shy. Like, another Wasteland would be catastrophic. They have so many good cards, like Amp Raptor. I mean, the good news is Therapy isn't that good at this point, so like close to Hellbent. Okay, they do have another Wasteland. This is catastrophic. They're going to take us off white, I think. Yep. It's a bummer, but they don't have action. All right, we have a force up. We're just sitting here doing nothing. This is where like having Yorion in the deck like really breaks the game open, but unfortunately we're on the 60 card version. I did consider going up to 80. Wow, they have another land. They're so flooded. This is such a gift. All right, I'm just going to pass the end step, and I'll probably just Lorien and put Lorien back on. I do need to get another white source. It's probably correct to just get the other white source. Okay, they drew yet another land. Incredible luck on our part. They kept. Oh, no, wait. That was just them fetching. They didn't draw that. Okay, so they kept. So this is going to be something good. Therapy's fine. They're not going to name Lorien Revealed. They do name Force of Will. That's a bummer. I mean, like, I'm not going to force the Therapy. Okay, now they have Ocelot Pride. Now we really need to find something good. We don't have anything in our graveyard that's worth regrowing. So yeah, I'm just going to go get a white source here. And I'll just do it in step again, so I maximize the mana that I have during my turn, just in case. I mean, I could do cantrip into something. Haven't seen any cantrips. Well, that's good. So we are going to just go ahead and take care of this and then keep attacking. So we survived 2 of their 4 Wastelands. A lot of their top decks are pretty mediocre here, but they have a Johnny, which is insane. I don't know what they drew, but it's probably something reactive like a plow. I'm going to come across and see if I can... Like, if they have Bowmaster, they might just throw it out there, and then it gives me a window to brainstorm. All right, well, I am going to brainstorm. I'm not going to sit still. If they have it, I'm really in trouble. That's so lucky. I think this is just a ponder. We're just trying to find action. I am going to ponder with my black. That way I can cast beans if I find it. Felly is not good enough. Murktide. Let's do it. They probably have a plow in their hand, but if they do, I'll gain some life. They said these top decks, they are dead on board if they don't have the plow. I mean, the main thing you have to understand is that, like, I have 8 cantrips in my deck, plus, you know, just like I win cards like Lorien Reeled and stuff. My top decks are not exceptional. My opponent's just bricking really hard, which I empathize with. So Hydroblast comes in, Terminus, which frankly I should have lots of Terminuses in my sideboard. I think that Pest Control, you know, the more I thought about it, like I just can't get behind this card. Like Terminus is so much better, but I'm going to play at the league. But man, like Terminus, I'm looking forward to resolving some Terminus here. Cards that come out, we could take out Force just because we're 2-for-1ing ourselves. I think Felia comes out because they have Karakas, and that's super awkward if they just randomly have Karakas. That's one of the reasons not to play Uro. You will encounter just random people playing Karakas, and it just completely wrecks you, just randomly. So you have to play Wasteland if you're going to play legendary creatures. Then your mana base gets all screwed up. All right. I am keeping Pest Control for sure. I think I could go down some Forces. Quantum Riddler seems pretty good. He can gum with the board. Yeah, I'll go down a couple of Forces. No, do I want to go down Force when I have Beans in my deck? Definitely don't want to go down Bowmaster. That's our Stay Alive card. I guess I could take a Quantum Riddler. In the previous match, I think I took out all my Quantum Riddlers, didn't I? I can't remember how I did it. Yeah, I think I do take out the Quantum Riddler. Then I can keep the Forces. And again, our goal is just to survive the early game. Then we can win with whatever's on the table. We have lots of time this time. This is a hand. I like it. So this is one of the reasons you put a lot of Loriens in your deck, because it's fixing, but it also feeds the Murktide. And it doesn't matter how far ahead they get. If Murktide can't be answered, they're probably going to lose. If they have just like an insane opening like Pride into, or Guide into Pride, that's like the most brutal sequence. I'll just be getting a Underground Sea here. I'm also worried about, okay, that's not the end. We have Bowmaster next turn, which can ping it, and they gain less life. And then eventually we'll clear the Guide itself. They are down to 1 land. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do to exploit that. Okay, that's a great rip. Just pass into their turn. That way they don't know that Bowmasters is coming. All right, so I'm going to attempt to double block the Guided Souls. Removing Guided Souls from the table is extremely important. They're just about at the threshold. So I might actually force a plow here. Yeah, they have the plow. So I have to force this, unfortunately. I need to kill the Guide. So I'll get to keep one of my bodies around, which can also deal with the cat next turn. They don't have a land. We're very close to marking. You may be asking, like, why didn't you just accept that plow and then Leyline Bind it? And, I mean, that's certainly another option. That actually would have looked better now that we saw that we bricked. Yeah, unfortunately, they may have been sandbagging. Okay, that's another one. So now I have to clear that. Okay, they opt not to attack. I'm just going to be mana efficient here and clear the Pride. I think I ponder, and then I could just murk. They said I wouldn't mind land this game, though. I mean, that's pretty insane. Yeah, we just keep that. I'll Bowmaster, or I'll Beanstalk this turn. Put Force back on top. I can't do that until next turn because I tap my green. Yeah, that's fine. I am a little worried that they clear my white. Yeah, they're getting mana screwed this game, but like you have to understand when you play powerful non-blue decks, that's the bargain you're getting. Like I have Ponder, okay, and cards like that to fix my draws. You don't get that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I will happily take this trade. All right, this turn I can put Force on top. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Force on top, and then I Merc. I draw the Force. I could just put Lorien Revealed on top for next turn. I think that's fine. If I do this, let's see, I have 1, 2, and then I pay E. I shouldn't put anything on top actually, because I want to just put all this under Murktide, and then no, I can do it, right? Yeah, I've got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I can do it. I'll put Lorien Revealed on top. All right, and we're going to go ahead and play our Murktide out. I miscounted, I think. I need to pay one more. That means I don't have access to Bowmasters this turn cycle. I miscounted. I shouldn't have grabbed anything. My initial intuition was correct. Now I can just Lorien for another white source. They attempt to best me in combat. Even if they have another body, this won't be able to get big enough to get past Murktide. So I've got a pretty big wall here. All right, I think they have Bowmasters here because they've got 5 cards in hand, so they've got something. I'm going to play this out. I could just cycle it. I just hang back, and then end step they're going to put the Bowmasters in, and that's fine. And then I can I can cycle. I can go get a second. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to go get a second Tundra just so they can't waste me off white. Then if they don't waste me, I can Xander's Lounge. I can Bowmaster and Xander's Lounge in the end step. Does it make sense to attack them? I think it's fine. I've got lots of life. And now, if the card they have is Bowmasters, they're essentially like they wasted a turn cycle. They may have 2 Bowmasters. Right, Bowmasters it is. I'll just wait. So now they've got a pretty big Guided Souls. They've gained a lot of life. Hexing Squelcher. Well, this means that I'm going to go ahead and do this now so I don't have to pay life. Okay, next turn I can draw a ton of cards. Which makes me wonder, do I really need to cycle the Xander's Lounge? But I think it's fine. So they have the plus here. They're going to do that with that guy. Okay. It's fine. I'll take it. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this just to get deeper into my deck. Like, it's rare that I cycle it, but like, yeah, we got another land anyway, so that's fine. Hydroblast is pretty sweet. Let's go ahead and do this first. I will draw 4 cards. Okay, we got the Plow. All right, that's fine. I guess I could just play this out. I'm going to go ahead and Hydro this now. I can take 3. I think it's fine to chill for another turn, and I've got Plow up. I just don't want to unnecessarily take damage. If they put a creature on the stack, I can just Plow this. If they Plow this, it's totally fine. I'll find another threat. Imperaptor. We'll let that resolve. Yeah, I could have denied them an energy and a life. We'll see what they find. I just found a Johnny. So that's the card that I need to Plow, unfortunately. That way, they don't have a way to flash him back. I think I need to just hit the guide. And then I will figure out a way next turn. Because they get the 2 bodies, but unless they have like a land to sacrifice, they could have the sacrifice land. And they don't have good attacks. Another Merc. So I'm going to start with the Brainstorm. That's pretty good. I don't need the Lorien Revealed, but like I actually kind of want it. I'll just go ahead and Beans and then Merc. Beans. This game's like pretty over in my humble opinion because I'm about to have a giant Merc swinging in and a Merc on defense. Now I'll fetch. Let's get a Savannah, I guess, just to diversify my mana. So I should get another Underground Sea. I'll go blue, 5 full-size boy. Put these all in the stack manually. I get to draw 2 cards. Now force cantrips as well. I might find a Plow or a Leyland Binding. Neither. So they're on like a 1-turn clock or 2-turn clock. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. If I don't have to force this turn cycle, I mean, like therapy would be pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. Because that would give them a means to flip this and potentially do a lot of damage. But there's a decent chance that my force reveals some sort of removal. This game is more precarious than the previous ones because they have 5 cards in hand. But I will protect my dragons. They don't have any life gain on the table. Even if they flip with Johnny, it's not going to be able to take out one of the dragons. I'm just going to let it through so they don't get to flip. Wasteland. No, thank you. That would be lethal. And yeah, I'll draw 2 cards. And I believe they're dead. They're out of colored mana. We got an expletive in the chat. I'm pretty sure that's GG. No force and I win, lol. That's why I held the force. I know how vulnerable I am. This deck is extremely good and we've just beaten it twice. Without losing. Oh, we did lose a game in the previous round. Round 3. I don't mind fighting against fair decks all day. I could do this all day. Well, it looks like we're actually up against a Stinking Show deck, but luckily I do have Leyland Binding, which is a very good card against them. I'm going to keep. Am I? Yeah. I keep the Leyline hand, and I'll just probably... What am I going to do here? I probably do, just in case they have some explosive start, it's probably responsible to lead with Tundra. Then I can Lorien Cycle. I can Brainstorm and then upkeep Lorien Cycle. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't really have anything to put back. Like, they're almost certainly on Stinking Show. That's like all they play. So it will make sense to put back the Plow here. Yeah, I'll just put back the Plow. And like, if I find a better land, I would like to put back Lounge. They're fetching. Okay. You have a Pierce for me? What is this? Oh, interesting. They thought I might have Stifle. I would prefer a non-ETB tab land to a ETB tab land. So we'll put back Plow. I'll put this back. I'll upkeep Cycle. I have found a Force, which is great. Second Leyline is probably not going to do anything, but it might. What do I want to do here? Yeah, this is actually a decent turn to just go get... Like, I probably should have just held it. Actually, I think I kind of punted. Like, I don't need both of those cards, but I think it makes sense to just grab Xander's Lounge here because I'm not going to be doing anything this turn. I'll just play it. And so they are definitely going to be thinking about Leyline Binding being a possibility here. And what I'll probably do is if they show and tell, I'll just let it resolve, and then I'll put in Leyline Binding, and then I'll force their interaction on Leyline Binding. And the reason I do that is they have Omni. They could have Cunning Wish. I don't know that that's a common way that decks are constructed these days. Ponder's fine. They're just casting their cantrips. I'm not too far away from just like Murktiding and starting to beat them down. But I need another card before I'm going to fire off this Lorien Revealed, which will fill up my graveyard with sorceries and instants and help me in the game quickly. I do think putting that on the table would be good because that would be a form of pressure they're unlikely to be able to respond to. All right. I think I could just go get a Trop. Or I could play Savannah and just have double up for the turn cycle. And then end step, I go get a Trop. Yeah, I think that's fine. Now we've got double Force and double Line, which seems pretty strong. Not going to lie. Ancient Tomb. Are they going to go for it? Show and tell. Right. I will let it resolve. And if it's a Traxa, that's a lot of cards, but they're going to have to discard. So it's fine. Interesting. They're playing Days. Don't mind seeing that. They did find another show and tell. So they keep Lotus Petal, Force Will, stock up Ancient Tomb. Okay, so they aren't going to have to discard. Oh, they are. I think this is a cycle. It takes us off of Force, but I think it's okay. They kept stock up. I think I'll just get another... Wait, I could get Mystic Sanctuary. Is that good, though? No, I don't think that's necessary right now. I think the simplest thing to do is just get another Tundra here since we already have black. Okay. I'm not going to overthink it. They discard. Okay, Volk. Okay, so let's take stock of what's in their hand. So they kept Lotus Petal, Force, stock up Ancient Tomb. They might force a Murktide at this point. Blue card. Oh, no, we didn't get a blue card. That's actually kind of bad. So we just play the Merc. I think they're forced to respond. They'll force pitch something. We force their stock up. We still have Leyline Binding. I think it's okay. And they may not even force this. I think what they're going to try to do is find a sneak attack. Let's do this. It's not a big threat, but it is a threat. And because they're using the Ancient Tombs, did I just play into a Daze? They didn't keep a Daze, but they had one in hand. That's fine. I'll just let it happen. I'm not going to fight over it. I'll deal with them later. I don't want to burn up Force on something like that. Sadly, I'm going to have to force the stock up. Okay, they're not casting it. Interesting. So they're holding stock up as a... Gosh, we're getting the worst rips. And I don't even have anything I can put on top. But I've got like a hard cast Force, which is not terrible. So I can just go get... Yeah, I should have actually played a Tundra so I'd be able to go get the thing later. I think I punted. Okay, they're just passing. Interesting. So if they have Days, it's dead now. Gosh, we're ripping so many lands. We'll just pass. This is really kind of unfavorable because they're going to be able to get like a super protected something like here in a second. I think this is a hardcast Force. And then, let's think about this. So unfortunately, I don't have any more white sources in my deck and I need to keep Leyline Binding up. So I'm going to fetch and then that way I can keep a Tundra up. It sucks. Right? I don't think I have another white source. Yeah. Oh, I did have another Tundra. Okay, so I didn't have to do that. That was a punt. Okay. Well, I'm going to get I'll get a second under... No, I'll get a Trop. So I have two greens. Okay, and then we'll just go blue, 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 they can force it back if they want, which they have a Veil. Okay, well, that's even more of a beating, unfortunately. I didn't see that, so I didn't know that was in their main deck. But it makes sense that they're playing green. So I think they're just on straight Omnitel. We haven't seen any red, which is actually really good for me because the only way they can generally win is through actually casting a show and tell. So I can put a land in and then I can Leyline Bind in response to something. Sneak attack. Well, unfortunately, if this is Emrakul, I have to Leyline it. And they still have the force up. Well, they can force this and I'm dead. And yeah, there was nothing I could have done. They could have just responded to this trigger on the stack. So a humiliating defeat, but this deck is designed to farm blue decks. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what went wrong there. All I know is we're bringing in our Force of Negations. We're bringing Hydroblast here. I'm going to cut Felia, I think. Bowmasters can help me win. Pest Control comes out. Plow comes out. Leyline Binding's fine. We don't necessarily need all 4, but I think it's probably fine to keep it. I will cut a land. Let's cut one of my Tundras. Yeah, because I still want the Surveil triggers and stuff. Yeah, let's do that. Because I went down to just really Leyline Binding, and I might not even cast that. I might just put it in when they... I mean, I'm happy with my play. I don't think I necessarily punted anywhere. The fact that they showed me the days, and then I figured, okay, it's probably not like... There are probably not a lot of their days in their deck. You know, that was maybe a mistake. Because it's very rare that I see days in a deck like this. So I am going to go ahead and just immediately fetch and start getting my colors under me. So we get black here. And if they have like a Magus of the Moon or something, it's not that big of a deal. Because I have a basic island in hand, which is pretty convenient. So I'm looking for Force. I'm looking for Thoughtseize. Force Negation is... This is fine. I can shuffle away the land that I don't need. Take the Force Negation now just in case they have a turn 1. I think Bowmasters will be a pretty good win con. And then if the game goes long, we do have Lorien revealed. So we'll draw whatever that blue card was. And then we'll have fetch. Okay, that's fine. Veil is really annoying. So that is definitely something to be cognizant of. Because Veil is good against... Oh, wow, that's good. Yeah, I just want to go ahead and do this. I know there's a blue card on... Well... Now I'm going to play this out, and that way I can Bowmaster them. And I actually think I Bowmaster now. That way they can't Veil it. And I necessarily get the damage. So grab green here. And if they force it, that's fine. That's a force that I don't have to deal with. Right? It's in. We have a clock. And most likely this will be like the way that we win the game. We're fetching. Okay, red-green. What is this? Fire. Interesting. Very interesting. I think I just let it 1 for 1. I don't want to fight over it. I think it'd be foolhardy to throw my only interaction after that. There will be other threats. Okay, so here, this is just a brainstorm, I think. I could find a Beanstalk. I'm going to keep the green up with hopes of finding a Beanstalk. I could find a Thoughtseize, which would be really awkward because I wouldn't be able to cast it this turn, and I need to cast it as soon as possible. So maybe I shouldn't have gotten greedy and gone for Beanstalk, but Beanstalk, like Force with Beanstalk out would be insane. This is a real test of your skills. If you, as a blue, like a fair blue deck, can beat Sneak and Show, you're a really good blue player, in my experience. Because I almost always lose this matchup. And I genuinely think that like this deck's best matchups are fair blue decks, like mine. I mean, they probably love playing against Death and Taxes and stuff like that, but like that's not a significant chunk of the meta. Okay, and we did find the Beanstalk, which is fantastic. So I'll just Beans here, and I'll draw the Bowmaster later, and I'll just draw... Well, I mean, they could force the Beans. Least important card, I guess. What's the card that I'm not going to pitch to Riddler? Or I'm not going to pitch Riddler to Force. I may Force back here, since I have the second Force, because we're a little bit far... Like, this resolving this would be a big win. If they daze it, that's really humiliating, but it does set them back most likely a turn. And I think with Riddler on the way, it's okay to let this go. But you could also say that it's right to Force because that increases the likelihood that I'll get extra cards off Riddler. I'm just worried. I'm deathly afraid that they go Ancient Tomb, Show and Tell, and they have Veil up. And I will need 2 Forces in this circumstance. Okay, this is fantastic. This is a huge advantage bar swing for us. The brainstorm. Yeah, and that decision to like tap out a black and leave up green for the contingency that I drew Beanstalk, I'm pretty proud of that. They're cantripping a lot, but I mean, you can do all the card selection you want. I'm actually going up cards. Okay, so here, I do want to hit a land. I might be able to hit a land riddling. I'm going to do it like this, and then I have potential for Thoughtseize. So I get 2 cards, one of which is unknown. If I whiff on land, I could just Lorien for land, but I'd really like to just draw a land. Okay, Murktide's fine. Did I know that Murktide was there? I don't think I did. That is a good way to end the game, but we have lots of ways to end the game. Okay, this is great. Now I can just pass with Double Force, Orcish Bowmasters, the whole shebang, and I shall do that. I can also, like Lorien Revealed in the end step if I want to get a land to cast Riddler out and get like extra cards and have a wink on. That might be more powerful than Bowmaster. I'm going to attempt to force this because I get to cantrip off of it. They Veil. Well, I'm going to attempt to force that. I will pitch this Ponder. Do you have a Pyroblast? That would be very good here. They have a Force of their own. Okay, well that breaks my entire chain, unfortunately. But I did have to stop the Veil before I could draw. Do I want to go ahead and just get my Orcish Bowmaster in now before this comes online? I actually don't hate that. It's an efficient thing to do with my mana here, because they're going to draw an extra card. But I do have to target myself with this. Yeah, I'll target my... Okay, so I've got like a decent body against an Ancient Tomb. Draw trigger. Leyline Binding is very good against Show and Tell, exactly, but it's not good against... I mean, it's not bad against the other card. I will need to Lorien Revealed for a Tundra here. So we could absolutely lose. They got a very favorable exchange there, even with the Beanstalk. Like, Veil is just a freaking beating. It's pretty good. I like that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get a White Source. Or I could put Force Negation back on top of my deck, but I don't have a way to draw it. If I cast this, I can draw. I think it's fine. I'm just going to attack. And next turn... Like, hopefully we have the big fight this turn, and then next turn I can reload with Quantum Riddler, which will draw me a ton of cards if we had the fight. They're down to 10. I'm not in immediate Death to Emrakul range, but I'm getting close. All right, so we're going to put Leyline in here. Actually, I shouldn't put Leyline because I'm giving up on a draw. But they can force. Okay, so what they're going to do here is they're going to activate, and I will attempt to blast, and then they can activate a second time. But I do need to do this now. You have a second threat. They're going to reload. Like, if they have Emrakul, I can still win. But if it's a Traxa, they're going to reload, and I'm probably dead. All right, let's see what they get. All right. So let's see whether this resolves. Draw trigger. Lounge. Okay. So if they can clear this later, then they just get the Emrakul back, which is pretty terrifying. They are low in life. And now I riddle, and I get a ton of cards. Let's go ahead and do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, let me think about this. Is Riddler correct here? Because we've already played our land for turn. I probably shouldn't have played that Xander Lounge. I'm not going to get a extra card anyway because of... I think I just need to... 3 cards is better than... Yeah, this is a punt. Putting the Riddler body out doesn't really matter because if they tap this, they're dead on board anyway. I think I'm going to go for it, though. Like, let's say hypothetically I have Brainstorm. What am I looking for? Well, there's a decent chance. Let's see. I've used 2 forces, and I think I have like 6 left. And I also have cards that I can, potentially put in to answer Show and Tell that I could draw. So it's getting 2 cards and being tapped out versus looking at 3 cards but only getting to keep 1. I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm now. I'm just going to leave the Riddler. Okay, this is insane. So I will just keep this on top. Then I can Leyline into another Bowmasters if I need to. I think they're very weak to Leyline, is my read. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a cantrip in hand. And I could always just Leyline to draw a card and then Bowmasters to kill them if they do something. They're going to 3. Yggdrasil. This doesn't have any targets. in their graveyard. So this is fine. I don't care. They're dead on board. Like, I don't believe they're going to get to activate it. Right? Am I missing something? A braid? It doesn't matter. So what I'll do here is I'll just leyline this. Then I can just Bowmaster. Yeah, I'll just let that happen. And then I Bowmaster and then they're dead on board. That's fine. They exile the top 3 cards. It doesn't really matter because they have to pay for and tap it to use it. We're drawing a land. I'm just trying to think, like, if hypothetically they had the force, they could survive for a turn cycle, but I don't know that they can win from there. This is a real chess match. I wonder what they're thinking about. You know what? They may have Veil or Force of Vigor or something like that. I don't think that's likely, but it's possible because they were pausing to think for like 2 minutes there. So this is death. They have the force. Okay, wow. So, all right. Well, we're going to attack them to 1. They won't be able to tap the 2 anymore. So I think I do want to just, I can put, what can I put on top? I can put a force on top and I'm going to draw 2 cards. I think that's correct. I can put a Hydroblast on top. I think I put a force on top because it just answers like everything and it cantrips. And this will necessarily come into my hand here. So we draw 2. Or yeah, we draw a lot. Boom. Now we attack and they're super duper dead. That felt great. There's nothing they can draw here, I don't believe. I mean, like, amazingly, that actually still felt very precarious to me because they won that Veil fight. But like Beanstalk drew us probably 3 or 4 cards at least. Maybe 5. So I'll keep this exact same. You know, Consign can stop certain things. It could be that since they're playing Veil, like Thoughtseize is just not that great. And we're on the draw. I think I'd rather have Consign. That seems crazy though. I could bring in Carpet as well. I've already cut 1 land. I don't want to cut in another one because I'm worried that I'll get mana screwed. So Consign stops Yggdrasil. It also stops like the Emrakul trigger if they put an Emrakul in. They can't Veil it. I think those are good reasons to just play that. But Thoughtseize is really in my sideboard just for this matchup and a few other matchups. So the fact that I'm siding out Thoughtseize might mean that like I just shouldn't play it. It's not a great hand. Unfortunately, like Double Force just isn't good enough nowadays. It used to be like you're up against a combo deck. Oh, I've got a Double Force hand. Good game. But that's no longer the case. I'm just going to get this out so I can riddle next turn. And we will hope that Double Force keeps us alive until Riddler comes out at least one time. If we have to have a big force fight now, it's not that big of a deal. I'm going to let them have all the mana they want. Mana denial is not part of my strategy. I just need to draw more cards than them. Basically, that's what the game comes down to. Unfortunately, they will get a lot of mana. Am I gonna Quantum Riddler here? I might want to wait. I wouldn't mind Leyline Binding the Carpet, but it feels like, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this now because I can have it for later in the game. I'm just drawing right back up unless they pyro here, which yeah, they don't pyro. Another force would be spectacular. Perfect. Okay, so now we have a triple force hand. And that means that when Riddler comes back, he's going to be supersized. Or like, he's going to supersize our hand, rather. Because I'm going to probably have to force down to nothing here. Yeah, they have the Veil, too. That is a force negation. I mean, I can, in theory, cast force negation. I think I force negate first, just in case I find Carpet. Or, not Carpet, but yeah, I'll pitch a Brainstorm here. So they pyro, I have to force. The reason I'm holding on to my forces, that's unfortunate. Yes, so I won't pay for that. And now I will force the sneak attack. And the card I'll pitch is going to be another Brainstorm, because Ponder can find me specific cards, whereas Brainstorm can just kind of fix my hand later. I'm so far from bringing back Riddler. I really have to hope that that hurt them. Okay, let's go ahead and Ponder first. Then I can just keep the best cards I see here. Well, I'm going to Lorien Reveal first because I do want to get a land to advance my board state. I'm going to go get a Plains. Then I'll have all my colors. They'll have tons of mana, of course, but I didn't bring in my own carpets. Carpet is very good here. So that's a Leyline Binding. Mystic Sanctuary gets back a force. I like these cards a lot. So next turn will be Leyline Binding, or will be force. We actually can just take their Carpet right now, I don't hate that. The problem with doing that is then it might be worth doing. Like they missed a land drop here. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. It's a 1-for-1. My kids have like some alarm going off for some reason. All right, so I'm actually going to force this. They're tapped out. They could have a Veil, and that would be very embarrassing. I'm drawing a land that's just going to put something on top, and then we're going to be vulnerable for a turn cycle. If they have Show and Tell. Yeah, I mean, this totally shields down. I'm just going to lose if they have it. I'll put Force Negation on top. There's nothing I can do, but I can hardcast this. I think I shouldn't have Leyline Binded, is my read. Because now like I'm just totally dead, basically. I'm one turn away from getting Riddler out, but they can very easily overpower. They know exactly what they need to beat. And so they're sculpting toward that. Yeah, I think I punted hard. But you do force stock up, in my experience. Like their deck does have to find their cards that they need to win. And sometimes they don't find them. So they need another mana to be able to Veil me. They did find the mana. Now, okay. So next turn is probably a Veil protected Show and Tell. But like they could have just Show and Tell there while my shields were down. So I'll chill for a turn. I don't have any plays. Once Quantum Riddler comes off Warp, we'll be fine. I'm just going to let that go. So they could hardcast an Atraxa if they add black. They don't have white. Yeah, they need black and white. So they can't hardcast Atraxa here. They just pass. Right. Well, I am going to try to brainstorm into some action like a Beanstalk. I still have perfection, really. So we can cast the Beanstalk. Then we're shields down until we draw. So Flooded Strand, I do want to play it, but I can play it next turn. Yeah, I'll just do this. And let's hope that they don't have the force. I can also use this opportunity to pretend that I have another Leyline Binding to spook them a little bit. We're in. Right. I think next turn, Quantum Riddler draws us a ton of cards and we'll probably be fine from there. We're giving them tons of mana. They're not going to be able to like Emrakul us, but they will be able to do other stuff. I think I have to let this go. Gosh, they're down to 2 cards. I mean, the problem is a Veil just completely blows me out. I'm going to try to stop it. I think we're dead, unfortunately. Yeah, if you have Veil, good game. Wow, Scoop, that's huge. Okay, and we're going to draw 3 cards off this Riddler. So we'll be back in it if they don't force this. But I still get a card. Okay, they're fetching. What is this? Just surveilling. That's fine. Every single one of my lands contributes to their carpet. It's terrifying. I can get this Fana here. Yeah. Wait a second. Yeah, we've already gotten the Mystic Sanctuary. Yeah, let's just mitigate the cards we're giving them, shall we? Blue, 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 blue. Does he resolve? Please let me draw a lot of cards and get a win con. Okay, Flooded Strand, that's a bad start. 2 more cards. Oh! I think we might win. We might win. Especially if we don't have to use this Force Negation. If they just draw like Dirtle cards. Yes! Holy guacamole! So huge for us. So huge. Oh, yes! Oh my goodness. I did not expect to win this at all. Draw trigger. Now I'm just going to hold up double force. I'm not going to risk it. I'll come in. They're at 14. I'm not going to risk the Merc. I can just take it easy. Force draws 2 cards. Force Negation draws more. And then, yeah, they just don't have anything. They bricked hard. That's freaking perfect for me. Their deck is so adverse to my deck. They have to be pissed that I'm winning. Because I had to like use like the entire... Wow, that's a good card too. All right, we'll just come across. Now I think I can Merc. Draw 2 cards and put them on a 1-turn clock. I think that's fine. And I'm not even coming off a force when I do that. In fact, I'll maybe be drawing into additional good cards. We'll do the green here. Murktide. 1, 2, 3, 4. Blue, blue. Double draw. Lauren revealed. Love it. Bowmasters. Not bad. All right. And we have Hydroblast and Force of Negation up. I don't think they're going to be able to get through this. And then they're just dead. Like they would need to clear both of these. 3-0. Hell yeah. All right, we're back for round 4 with 3-0. Up against a fan of the channel. Big and hard. Very, very skilled player. I think I usually lose against them. Likely on either Ocelot Pride or some sort of like Sink and Show type deck. This hand would be great against Sneak and Show, but yeah, we're going to mull the 4-lander. This is better. I'm glad I mulled that. The card that goes back is probably just the Underground Sea here. I want to keep the business. I can always fetch an Underground Sea. Okay, so if they're on Ocelot Pride, our main goal is just to get a giant Merc on the table as soon as possible. Okay, so they're on a blue strategy. Ponder, sure. So, most likely thing they're on is just blue-black tempo. That's about 10% of the meta, 15% of the meta. We just do the mana efficient play of Lorien Revealing here. So I'm just going to go get a drop, and then I'll go get Underground Sea with this Lorien Revealed. But that doesn't mean that I can't play Leyline Binding this turn. So, yeah, maybe that wasn't the right sequence. 2 cards in the graveyard. Beanstalk, love it! Definitely do this into a daze. It's just, you're supposed to do it, frankly. Also, I'll keep my most precious mana color, white, out of range. Please don't daze this. They do daze it. Okay, well, that sucks. But I wasn't going to wait. And I don't think you should wait either. Don't be afraid of daze. Sometimes you have to play into daze. And if they hadn't been on daze, we would have been in a great position. Now we have daze protected Bowmaster. I'm not going to use the white mana this turn, most likely. So I'll just play this out and make them think that I'm on, Bug Beans. Like, I think the odds of me using this white mana are very low. I can't think of what I would use it for. Okay, well, do you have a force? It is worth me trying this. Okay, they do have a force. And next turn we have a Murktide, and if they're on blue-black, they're unlikely to be able to deal with it. We have 2 mana Leyline Binding, so I can Murk and have Leyline Binding up. Really, like mono-black, they have Snuff Out, they have Shieldred's Edict. They do not whiff on land. Tamiyo? Thoughtseize. Oh, reanimating it. Okay. That actually does make it harder for me to resolve Murktide. Like, I have to play it into daze, basically. So they're on blue-black Reanimator, which makes it even less likely that they have an answer to Murk here. I could wait. I think I do wait a turn cycle. Now I've got Leyline Binding and Bowmaster up, either of which can be cast around daze. But importantly, both cannot be cast around daze. Well, I'm going to go for it. And I'll get their Bowmasters if this resolves. Tainted Indulgence, draw 2 cards. So they are definitely on. Yeah, there's the Atraxa. Okay, so we'll clear their board here, which is important. But we do have to deal with an Atraxa. But it's extremely unlikely that outside of Brazen Borrower, they're going to have any interaction here. They've already used their Reanimate on our Bowmasters. They may not have another one. I don't have any Graveyard Disruption, do I? And nothing. Which is fine. Like, I don't think it's obligatory that you play Graveyard Disruption right now. So we're clearing the path to be able to attack them for 3. We do have Leyline Binding. So we could let it resolve and then just plow. They may not have days at this point. I think what we do is if they Atraxa. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm just going to go ahead and make a pretty chibi Murktide. That means small. It's like Japanese. Okay, so if they rip like a Wasteland, it's pretty catastrophic because they can just waste us off our removal color. But I just need to put pressure on. I'm also removing a reanimation target from the graveyard that we could free them from our grasp. All right. So here comes Atraxa. We have to plow and they have to not have interaction. And I do have to plow here. Binding just doesn't do enough damage. I could have waited. Don't have it. Don't freaking have it. Gosh, what the heck? Terrible luck. I don't think that was a mistake. I don't think it was a bad call to go ahead and do it. Now they're going to have Force Blue card. Yeah, we're going to lose, unfortunately, despite having a really strong early advantage. They had the daisies where they needed them. They did not find a Wasteland. They may not be playing Wasteland. All right, so they choose Force, Ponder, Bury, Polluted Delta. Bury. Yep, and we need double removal, and we only have 1 removal color. So there's just no way that we're winning this. So Ponder, Force, Delta. All right. Well, technically we could block Baragoyf, but that doesn't seem like a winning proposition. They may force a Riddler, which would be pretty important. The other option is I could Leyline Bind. They force that, and then I Riddler. Man, I get 2 cards. But I mean, the most important thing is just removing this from the board, right? Like, no, actually, I think the most important thing is just getting Riddler to resolve. So it sucks to have to do this, but it does need to be done. They're just going to force it. Okay, and I will just completely lose my cool if they have yet another daze. They pitch a Ponder. So their hand is Pluto Delta, 2 unknown. They're going to gain a bunch of life here, but... So we get 2 cards. Pest Control doesn't do a damn thing. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I genuinely don't think Pest Control is supposed to be in the deck. I will sacrifice an Orc Army and I'll take a bunch of damage. And then next turn, we might be able to get Quantum Riddler out, but they're going to know to expect it, so they're going to be digging if they have the ability to dig, but they probably don't want to dig. Okay, so this is a very easy block. We'll just take the damage. They gain 7. They're like pretty high up in life. I mean, it's going to be a miracle if we can get out of this. Okay, Delta, so no known cards. Tamiyo, of course, just piling it on. Technically, we can kill Tamiyo, even if she flips with Pest Control. I'm going to go ahead and ponder here. We are looking for a Plow for Atraxa, and then we also need a... I think if we keep this, we die. We can wait another turn and just block the Baragoyf. We could double block Baragoyf, and that might kill it. Yeah, because this gives us Riddler. Are we just dead if we wait? Because it gives Riddler, it gives us like 3 cards. I think I need a shuffle. Sorry, friends. Like, this doesn't work. We need to find exactly Plow or Leyline Mining. Doesn't do it. Options. 1, we cycle Pest Control. And we find a Plow for this. I mean, they'll be able to attack in, and I can block. This could connect. I do need to find that. I'm just going to do it. You have to play to your outs. And, of course, it's easy for me to say, play to your outs when I'm completely behind the 8 ball here. I will trade with Tamiyo if they attack. And I'll let everything else through, and I'll die. So I can't do that. So what I'm going to have to do is end step Lorien Revealed. I mean, technically I could force, like, if they have some big play. If I just throw this in front of here, we're alive, and they've got a Tamiyo, which they can't really use for anything. I Lorien Revealed, I go grab a Plow. I have Plow for Atraxa, but that doesn't answer the Baragoyf question. Also, that needs to happen. Like, there's no way that can happen, unfortunately. So I am going to have to block. If I double block here, I'm not dead. And I can force... I have to clear this. I just have to. And I can force their reaction spell. This is a 4/5, right? Okay. Do you have a Fatal Push? I can force the Fatal Push. I'll drop to 4. Barry is dead. I can force the reanimation effect. That was a high price. And now they can Tamiyo here, which I guess I'll force. A Brainstorm here, because it would flip Tamiyo, and then I'd have even more problems. I think they misplayed because they could have Tamiyo'd and it would have basically been a force block. They have Murktide. How big is this? I just don't have the choice. It's going to be big enough, I think. What do they exile? Force Daze, Reanimate, Ponder, Daze. Okay, well, I'm going to force this. Unfortunately, I'm going to... Like, I have to survive. Hear me out. I have to survive. I do not have a choice. Like, I can't magically answer that. I'm actually going to need like a land exactly and then draw into Plow. I have a Savannah in my deck. I could draw it, so I do need to fetch. Gosh, yeah, and I don't even have the option of... Like, it has to be exactly Plow here. And this buys me 1 turn. Come on, 2 cards. Give me good ones. I can't Plow... I can't Ponder into anything useful, but I should go ahead and Ponder here. I'll get 2 cards. I mean, these are good cards, but like, do I even have the mana to use them? I think I just have to any order shuffle. All right, so next turn, that is a Brainstorm. They're going to draw a card off Tamiyo here. Yeah, I feel like every single move in this game has been a forced play, basically. They've been Thoughtseize. They've got 25 life. Even if I take over, I'm going to be like so dead. Yeah, you can Thoughtseize me. I don't care. Like, basically, like, I have to just... Like, it sucks, but I can't do anything about it. All right, so this is a force block as well. They get a clue. They can most likely flip her here if they'd like to. My poor giant, 5 mana creature dead to get another... Like, I've been in the abyss for the past 4 turns. Clue. 2 cards in hand. I would definitely be dead had I not made that trade with Baragoyf. It's interesting they took my Lorien Revealed there. Like, I would have had to tap out, basically, to play it. So we're going to go ahead and brainstorm here. Do you have a Bowmaster or a Force or really anything? I mean, I'm not dead. I'm not dead. Let's think about this. So if I Bean and then Bean again and then Riddle, I get a lot of cards, but I'm not going to... Let's see. That will use up all my mana if I do that. I could Bean and then Riddle. I could just Warp Riddle right now, and then I get 2 cards when I Bean. I think that's probably what I need to do. Okay. So first, we'll play out the land. It doesn't really matter. Actually, I get the same number of cards either way. No, actually, I get more because I draw 1 card here. Yeah, and I'll have exactly 1 card. No, I'll get a card from Riddler. It doesn't change anything. I needed to play out the Riddler here. I mean, like, the odds of me actually finding something useful here are very low because I know I'm going to rip a land. Yeah, it has to be done at this point. So we get a land, and if the last card is Leyline of the Void or a Plow, we are still alive technically. Yeah, good game. That was just brutal. We were pretty far ahead, frankly. But like all that matters is that they were able to resolve their I win spell. Okay, and we burned a lot of clock there. So here, Carpet is probably pretty good. I think I'm going to bring all the carpets in. Thoughtseize I don't think is good enough here, although they are technically a combo deck. I think Terminus might need to come in. I don't like Pest Control here. Yes, they have... Yeah, I just don't think Pest Control is the right card for the time. And I'm not sure that Bowmaster is the right time. Like, I wanted to play a 4-color version, and I don't mean to be doubting my deck so much, but yeah, like, I feel very confident that this is not where we want to be. We probably want to be on multiple Termini. I'll bring a Terminus in just because it has the potential to completely upend the game. And that is a lot of mana, but I'm not going to bring in Force Negation for this matchup. I don't think it's correct. Velia could help us accelerate out some good stuff. I am a little bit worried that they thought, whoa, this hand is insane. I was going to say, I'm a little bit worried that they could just totally ignore this carpet, but I think you're correct to just carpet turn 1. And if they ignore it, like with like something else, if they like play a fetch and don't crack it, then I can't Beanstalk with Daze Protection next turn. They force. Okay, that's great. That means my Bowmaster or my Beans is more likely to resolve, but it's not guaranteed because they could also have a Daze. They pitched a Merc there, which is basically free to pitch in the early game. Okay, Underground Sea, they're going to Thoughtseize me here. Oh, they have Tamiyo. Okay. I was getting ahead of my horses. I needed to chill. I think we need forward momentum here. I'm going to play this because I don't care if this gets wasted. And they're likely to waste this. Don't have the Daze for once. You're on the draw. Surely you don't have Daze. Okay. We got a second Force. They pitch Atraxa. They're like pretty in on this, but unfortunately it is going to, potentially flip. And I can't get quite Hellbent or close enough to Hellbent to get 2 cards off Riddler here. So I really do want to draw like a Bowmasters or a, they have the Brainstorm too. A beating. Double Force hand, which I'm not complaining about that because those were 2-for-1s, but I mean, you can imagine a situation where we're like hardcasting Lorien Revealed on turn 3, how good that would be. Instead, we have to play the Tamiyo minigame. They fetch. This might be a Thoughtseize, which would be devastating. Yep. Absolutely devastating. There goes our Quantum Riddler. And with it, like any interaction we had, we're just beholden to the top of our deck now. But the top of our deck is pretty good. I'm not going to let them untap. I'm just going to do this now. They could Brazen Borrower and get this back. They do have a clue off of it, so it is a 2-for-1, unfortunately. I'm just going to hold my Lorien Revealed. There's a non-zero chance that like I actually do get up to 5 land. I don't have anything meaningful to return. They have a Wasteland they can take out my white. Seeing that they can take out my white, it is tempting to use the Lorien Revealed, but I can just wait and see what they waste. I think they're likely to waste that. I'm going to play it. I mean, I could just cycle it. They're almost certainly going to waste it, but it's something that they have to waste. Like if they want to respect cheap ley lines for the rest of the game. I will just Lorien Revealed to get a... Okay, they're cracking Clue. Luckily, that's not Brazen Borrower. I was worried it might be Brazen Borrower, but I could just redeploy. So Brazen Borrower is not like super impactful here. They have 2 cards in hand, but they could just have like A plus B. Like their draw 2 discard card type thing. It's fine. All right. Well, I'm just going to hold the Lorien Revealed. Like, I know that they could have Daze, but I'd rather draw Yeah, and that's another good reason to hold it. So I'll just wait. I can just go put it on top of the deck if they don't do anything here. End step, Lorien Cycle. But that does mean that I'm making myself a little bit vulnerable. Like if they just bin like a fatty here, then like Reanimate basically wins the game. They don't. That's lucky. They are drawing a lot of lands. I don't think I'll fight this because they can reanimate. I just have to manage to win in spite of it. Getting my own Bowmaster would be good. As long as it's in the graveyard, like they have, I don't know, 4 to 6 ways of getting it back. Do you have 5 or more mana value? You do not. You have, I see 2, 3. So I think this is fine. I'm just going to let it go. I'll have to force the actual spell that reanimates it. I'm not going to be able to use Lorien Revealed. They just put a Borrower in the yard, so that's not a big deal at all. So Reanimate doesn't do anything at this point. Best draw in my deck is definitely Bowmaster. I am strongly considering Lorien Revealed here just because then I get a land and I can guarantee just get a 2-for-1 off this. And I could use the mana. So yeah, I am going to do it. I'll just get a second Tundra. Since that is by far the most important color in my deck is white. That's so insane. I mean, unfortunately, I just have to play around or like play into the Bowmasters. I'm not going to wait. I think it'd be a huge mistake to wait. And if I draw a Bowmaster, it's really good. Okay, Lorien Revealed. All right, so I'm going to take 3 here, but I do have Force back up. Yeah, I'm just going to chill. I do get a card when I force something, but that also grows the Bowmaster. So the reason I'm playing black is to play Bowmaster because a single Bowmaster can completely destroy me, unfortunately. So if I Thoughtseize, I get another card. I'm just going to chill. I can draw 3 cards, but I need to clear this Bowmaster, and then I can do it. I have 11 cards left in my deck that win me the game. They clear this and basically put me in a position where I'm ahead. But right now, I'm behind. Okay, Bowmaster number 2. Things are getting real. Like, I'm taking some serious damage here. They're not shuffling those top cards, so they may be mediocre cards. We just need to not break here. Unfortunately, there's nothing in my graveyard worth bringing back. I have to do this. It sucks. It has to be done. Murktide is pretty big. That's the line. I trigger it again. Let's see. 1, 2. He's a 5/5, 6/6. This grows twice. This is actually bigger because this grows twice. I can't do it. I have to find a Bowmaster. My Bowmaster or my Murktide will actually be smaller than their Orc Army if I draw again. I drew the Murktide anyway. Okay, well, I'm still going to play him out, but I think this is death. I could draw Murktide into Leyline Binding. I'm going to keep a black up just in case I do find... Wait a second. Let's think about this. So, hypothetically, I Leyline... or I Lorien Revealed. That gets me a land. And that makes him a 7, which is big enough to trade with the Orc. I feel like that's kind of cowardly. Let's see. If I cast a Murktide, though, I'm like basically dead on board. I don't want to trade with this thing. I want to have a big thing and also have... I haven't played my land yet. I'm just trying to decide. So I'm definitely going to Murktide. If I find a... I'm just trying to decide whether I want a Lorien Revealed first. And I think the answer is yes. So I'll go get another Underground Sea off Lorien Revealed, and then I have a 7. And then, because realistically, this is never going to be castable. So I'll get my Underground Sea here. We'll go like this. Blue, Merc. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll clear an enchantment, and then if I get another one, I'll clear the other enchantment just to minimize the impact. Okay, so they get a draw trigger here. Yes! Holy cow, that's exactly what I needed. Okay. All right, so we're in, and then what I need to do is just immediately play this so they can't daze or force or anything. And now we have a chump blocker, and we can attack them in the air. I'll pick one of these. I can actually chump block 2 turns in a row and just kill them in the air. All right, so we'll chump the 7. Their Brazen Bar was already in the yard. They could reanimate my Xander. Okay. I have to hope they ripped some sort of cantrip. I'm very proud of my play there, by the way. Even if I lose this game, I think I'm fighting like hell. Barry. Okay, so we need another insane top deck here. All right. So I'll lose my Bowmaster if I cast this Riddler, but the Riddler will be big enough. I'll draw 2. I'll take a bunch. This is still going to be gigantic. It needs to be cast. Unfortunately, I'm going to draw 2. I'll lose my Bowmaster. If I find a Plow, I could trade with this. No, this will be huge. I won't be able to trade with it anymore. I can't. I can warp it and then draw 2 cards or 3 cards, I guess. Will I draw 4 cards? I'll draw off beans. I'll draw 1 and then I draw 2. Yeah, I'm gonna. They're gonna do a tremendous amount of damage to me. I can't sit still. Like I attack. Wait a second. 5. So I attack for 7. They drop to 4. Then they attack. They kill this and they gain 5. And they're exactly. Wait. They're exactly dead. No, I can't block this. I can't. No, I take 5 from this. They attack for 6. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to attack them. And then when they attack, they gain 5. No, they go up to 9. What am I talking about? Okay, I have to do this. All right, and I am going to warp it because I need to have interaction. Wait, could I draw 2 Bowmasters? I've seen 1 Bowmaster. So yeah, in theory, I could draw 2 Bowmasters. So I'm going to use the green. I'm not going to be casting an Up the Beanstalk, that's for sure. I mean, I could also find... Yeah, so this is going to trigger 3 times, which is brutal. Carpet, like that was like what I was going to say a second ago. I could find a carpet. That Bowmasters is just soloing me. Yeah, good game. There's no way out of this. Like if I cast Brainstorm, I'm very dead. We'll play an opponent. Let's see. I Lorien Cycle, and then I Brainstorm, but like I'm technically still alive. Yeah, I'll just see what that yields me. Trop comes down. Carpenter or Carpet. I'm actually going to draw a 4. I'm going to draw a 1. So I'm dead to like any sort of Bowmasters from here. Let's go ahead and do this. This is extreme desperation, by the way. I draw 4. Yeah, good game. That wasn't going to get me out of there. Okay, so I hope you can appreciate that I fought really hard and I'm not giving them an easy win here. But like these Bowmasters were extremely ill-timed for me. Final round, we're up against a dedicated and very skilled lands player, which is not a good matchup for us, unfortunately. However, Pest Control is potentially good in the matchup. So the way I see this going is we got our basic, which is nice too. I can lead with basic. I can Lorien Revealed, get another thing. I think I do want Force. I think I'm going to put back the Riddler. And then what I'll try to do is Beanstalk and then force something. I could put back Pest. I should put back Pest Control. It might be useful later if they start getting a lot of things, but I'm not gonna, because I can't cast it anytime soon anyway. It's very mana intensive, so we'll just play that and we'll pass. If for some reason I don't need to force something, it's great because I can do a lot next turn. I'm not gonna force that. They're gonna try to assemble Dark Depths, but I've got white removal, so I should be fine. They are gonna waste this, but I can Lorien Revealed and get a different land. Bowmaster's very inconsequential in the matchup. I'll look forward to cutting it. Thespian Stage. Zero resistance. No thanks. So this is a guaranteed land drop. I really wish I could pitch Bowmasters. It should, like, again, it'll probably be a blue card. I'll show you a build that I'm working on after this. And when we get so many cards off of Quantum Riddler, it's likely we find a land. I'm going to just do that. I get a card immediately. Brainstorm. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just riddle for 2 cards. Wait. If I ponder, actually, if I brainstorm, I could whiff, and that would be very embarrassing because they waste and I'd just be screwed. I need to ponder. This is great. Unfortunately, I do have to shuffle these other cards away, but I just need to land. I wanted to make sure I made a land drop here. That was the high priority. So let's go and get Underground Sea. I could just get Xander's Lounge and then get rid of this, and I still draw a card because this will go get the Dark Depths, and it's just like... Once that's out, like I have to worry about it. I have to dance around it. Leyline Binding is less good. They might be able to besage you, Leyline Binding. I think the simple thing to do is get Xander's Lounge and go ahead and Leyline Bind here and draw a card. I think that's better than warping. All right, we got a land. That's great. So we'll take that out of play. Again, they can get it back if they want it. But I feel like I'm in a decent spot here. A big part of that being the fact that we were on the play and that our opponent mulliganed as well as us. Another Sphere. All right, not a lot I can do about that. Urza Saga's coming out. So I would like to Leyline Bind Urza Saga if I can find a Leyline Binding. That'd be huge. Okay, so options. I think I do want to get rid of this Bowmasters. And then I can pay 2 for a Leyline Binding if I find it. All right, there is Felia. She is not easily castable, but she is very good against what they're doing over there. The mana efficient thing to do, I'm going to put this Bowmaster back for sure. And then, I mean, Felia does deal with the constructs. They might have Leyline Binding or something like that. Or, sorry, they may have a Caracas. I think I need to hold up Force of Will just in case they crop rotate, but they don't actually have any green mana right now. I think I just go ahead and pay for the Ponder to be mana efficient and try to line up my next land drop because they could Wasteland me at any time. I'm going to put away... I don't want to put away the Riddler. I'm going to put away Felia. It sucks, but I need to cast this Ponder. I feel the need to cast this Ponder, I should say. I'm going to get a Tundra here, and we'll cast it. And we're just trying to dig deeper into our deck and line up the next land drop. This is 2 land drops, and I can shuffle away the Orcish Bowmaster. I think this is good enough. Again, I can't overemphasize like how important it is that you make your land drops in this matchup. So what I'll do next turn is I'll fetch, and then I'll put a Beanstalk on the stack, and then I will potentially have Riddler, but we're going to be... that's not that bad, actually. That invalidates the first few attackers. We just need to stay alive. They're not wasting me. Okay, so here the play is let's go get another Tundra. We can't overdo white. I mean, I could get another Underground Sea, but like I'm not going to actually be casting anything. I just need white mana. So we'll go like this. Green. Beans. So we shuffled. Now Riddler draws us 2 cards. Plow is good for sure. Like if they try to make it, I think what they're going to do is they're going to copy their Urza Saga and then they'll have an Urza Saga construct every single turn cycle, which will be a huge ordeal. All right, and as I expected, they are going to copy the Thespian stage. I can't do anything about this. This sphere is extremely good against our deck because our deck is very mana hungry. They have Urza Saga popping off here. We have taken out their way to explicitly go get Dark Depths. That might be what they're trying to do. This is also a very clock-intensive matchup, especially if you get like Tabernacle out. Oh, they tapped the wrong one. They need to tap the one that's about to go away. It's worth noting that our deck has 0 land interaction. That was an intentional choice. I wanted to have good mana so I could cast my spells and not be stuck with Wastelands and stuff. But in future versions of the deck that are like less color intensive, I may be able to do that. Skateboard. Tapping down our land, I will just float the white. I think I am going to use my mana efficiently if they go to combat. Yeah, it sucks because they could have Dark Depths, but like I don't want to die to this either. Yavimaya. We've gotten lucky in that they haven't found... They haven't wasted us yet, so I think this is the Riddler turn. And I can... Riddler and... No, I can't have Force Up. I'm going to go ahead and just Riddler. And, you know, whatever happens, happens. We'll grab a second drop here. Whatever happens, happens. They are sphering us hard over there. I do want the body on the table. We get 2 cards. Or 3, technically. But it's... Like, we've already played our land. Bowmasters is unfortunate. Leyline Binding will be good. Ponder is really bad. Like, paying 2 mana for a Ponder. So Leyline Binding will probably just take care of the sphere here. I can't interact. They're going to be able to build it. And then they put Skateboard on it. Then I have to chump. Talon Gates. Interesting. So they must have, like, a line to make it now. Like, a second crop rotation. I mean, I'm tapped out. I can't do anything, unfortunately. Sphere's too strong. Good game. This is so frustrating. I feel like this is... I can't stand this matchup. Sorry if I sound salty. Like, I respect lands as a deck, but it's just so unfun to play against because it's just, like, constantly annoying you in tiny little ways. Okay, so let's think about this. This is definitely a Forced Negation matchup. Consign is not atrocious, but it's not really good. Pest Control does actually... It's pretty good. I'll take out the Bowmasters for sure. That needs to happen. I'm not going to take out the Plow just because, like, I mean, I felt like I needed to move there. If obviously we know what happened, but I didn't expect my opponent to have crop rotation and naturally have it. I don't think I screwed up, is what I'm saying. Obviously, I could have played differently and I wouldn't have been got the way I did. Like, I could have held up Leyline, or actually, I didn't have Leyline in my hand when I cast it. I could have warped it, drawn the 3 cards, and then still had like 2 or 3 mana to play with. Okay, so yeah, I think I bring in one consign. I don't want to take up Felia. Pest Control, this is like one of the matchups where it's really good. Unfortunately, it's not like Wrath where it blows up the land. And this just should be a Wrath or Terminus. Like, I feel like this splits the difference. I do want lots of threats. Let's try it. I think this is like a pretty nightmarish matchup for us because we only have one basic and they're a Wasteland recursion deck. But I've won a lot of matches against this deck. But like, I don't think I've won with the 4-color version. This might be the first time I've I've played Dark Bant several times, and the reason you don't play 4-color decks is precisely because you get paired to this deck. Like, even without them being able to necessarily waste lock you, them being able to take you off colors selectively, it's devastating. These Thoughtseize have felt pretty terrible the entire league. I think I boarded them in one time, and then and my opponent says they misclicked. Like, that doesn't happen usually. Like, I was just like, okay, I assume I'm dead. Like, I'm not going to hope for some Hail Mary misclick. But, like, I might have actually been able to survive based on what they were telling me in the chat. But it would have been a temporary survival. Like, I would have had to... it still would have been extremely uphill. Of course, no lander. This is a 1-lander, but I'm going to keep it. I'll just put back a plow, and we're going to go get our second land. But we are vulnerable here. If they just, like, come out of the gate swinging, I don't have any counterplay whatsoever for, like, a loam, like, turn 1 loam type hand. That's the diamond. Okay. And now they have loam, and they can get the depths back if they have the loam. Okay, they don't. Wow, that's lucky. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cycle. We're going to go get a Trop Disruptor Flute. Okay. Are they going to choose Wasteland? What are they going to choose here? Wrath of the Skies. Well, luckily that's not the card in my deck, although it is the card that should be in my deck. So my opponent's actually smarter than I am in that regard. Come on, land. So, you know, we could warp the Riddler. We could just line up a land. I hate to say it, but I think we just line up a land and hopefully find a force negation. That'd be ideal. These Quantum Riddlers are way too much. Yeah, this is a shuffle. Come on, deck. Quantum Riddler. It's not a 4-of. It's not a 4-of. Not in this meta. They feel terrible here. They've felt pretty clunky the entire league. They should be Murktized probably. Like, I'm going to build a back to base. Like, I know I'm complaining because my deck's falling apart here at the last minute. Oh, that's actually really good. They could absolutely needle my Misty, so I do need to fetch. It's just trying to decide what to fetch. I think I want the second White Source because they're going to try to hit me for a lot here. I can riddle and at least get a new card, and then I'm going to just fetch a... Because if I find a force, it's really good. Because I'm like living in fear of them finding... okay, well, that's not... I'm not going to complain about a land. Okay. And like one of the cool things, if I do draw my 1-of consign, is like I could, you know... Okay, so I'll go ahead and let them decide whether they want to make it. They are making it. Okay, so I'm going to go fetch a White Source here. I will get a Savannah. That way I can't be completely taken off one of these colors. I don't care about Mystic Sanctuary. I just care about not getting wasted off my colors completely. Okay. The next turn, like I can definitely bind one of them if I want to, but that doesn't feel like the best thing to be doing. So they're going to get Skateboard, and then I'll just plow one of these. They might get the Search Your Library for a land, the Expedition map. Okay. I am going to plow. I don't want to take 5 damage here. These constructs can seriously screw me up if I'm not careful. Then what I can do is I can Leyline Bind this out of play. Ugh. Now I can't. Because they can just activate it. Okay. Well, I still have more White Sources. So that's not a catastrophe. I got lucky and I drew a land. And that's pretty good. Okay, so options. I think what I do is I go ahead and brainstorm and I get rid of some of these Riddlers. They're pretty bad. I might actually need that plow, sadly. I'm just going to put back both the Riddlers. They're not serving my interest right now. I'll play this out. And now I have double interaction. Well, actually, I can only interact once. But we'll see what they do here. I think the smart thing is to just take this and then see what they do here. Okay, well, this has to happen. We'll get a Tundra. If I get the Xander's Lounge, then I do have Leyline Binding. I should go ahead and get it. Hopefully they don't name Floodstrand. Yep, I think that was a really good name. Like, that was very savvy because I've already used 2 of my Misties. And now, like, sadly, I think the correct play is go ahead and leyline mine this so I can get another land, which sucks because I'm spewing, but yeah, it's the right play. All right. Oh, so I have Lorien revealed 2. I think I'm going to brainstorm first. Just see what I find. I would like to find beans. Murktide might actually be good enough. They don't currently have any way to win on the table. Let's think about this. So I do want to plow this out of the way, but they're not, like, they're going to expedition map. As far as I can tell, they don't, like, I do need to be able to stop a Wrath. If they loam, they're definitely going to waste me, so I need to get, I'll put back a Force for sure. I think I have to put this back. Now I'll play this out. I will pass, and then I can Force if I absolutely need to, and then next turn I can do a pretty big Merc. Is he full size? Yeah, I can. If I cycle, I can make it full size. Okay, we'll see what they get. There's a possibility that they're able to make it this turn. Okay, Urza Saga. Exploration. I don't think we forced that, and my reasoning is I need to force like a crop rotation later. And like, okay, they play Urza Saga, like they hit me for 3. It's not the end of the world. Urza Saga's out. What's your other land? Caracas. Okay, well, luckily that doesn't negatively impact me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and fetch, because there's no reason to give them any sort of window. But there actually is a pretty good reason to give them a window. And that is I want to have my mana up, and I also want to have a full-size Merc. So I am going to go ahead and just do this now. I can put a plow on top, but I probably want to put like a Lorien revealed on top, but like I'm not actually going to draw a card. Yeah, I think I just grab another Tundra. Okay. So this is just Merc, and we're stuck basically, but it does interact favorably with what they're doing over there. Like we don't have any interaction, unfortunately, but I can feign interaction. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess I leave Lorien revealed in the yard. I should leave the plow in the yard. 7/7 is bigger than your robots. All right, and now we basically have to survive like a turn cycle, and then we have Riddler coming out if they don't waste us. 3 cards in hand. Spheres of Resistance doesn't matter at this point. Like, actually it does. It keeps me from quantum riddling. So if I do swing with Merc, I have a very real chance of dying to Urza Saga Constructs next turn. Now they have Dark Depths. But I already have their search. No, wait, I don't have their search. Where's the search? They already used it. Okay. Well, we're going to hope to get lucky here. We're going to need to get lucky. Force Negation. Love it. Options. 1, we chill, which is not good for us. But that does mean we have Hardcast Force Negation up. If we draw land, we have Riddler up. If we attack, they get bigger and bigger. They're going to use Skateboard anyway. I'm going to attack. No. Oh, I can't. I'm dead. It doesn't matter because they'll Skateboard my dude. There's nothing I can do. The attacking doesn't matter, but like maybe they took Skateboard out. Like I'll give them that. Maybe it's in hand. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, actually, these will get 7/7. I'm at 8/8/8, but this is Skateboard. This card shouldn't have been printed, frankly. Lands didn't need, like Urza Saga didn't need this upgrade. Good games. Yeah, it was frustrating as hell. It was a frustrating way to end the league because I do think like this is a horrific matchup, but the previous round actually wasn't that bad. Okay, so that was a 3-2. We started off great, as is so often the case, and flamed out catastrophically at the end there. I didn't even win one of those games. Let's take a look at the list. So I don't think Beans is poorly positioned, but I mean, if I had to do it in major tournament, I wouldn't play this. I would play blue-black. So here is my thinking after having played like those first 3 rounds. Even after the first 3 rounds, I was like, yeah, I don't like pest control. It doesn't feel right. And I'm not sure about Bowmasters. So let's take a look at some of the lists that I have built in the intervening days. This took like 3 days to record this league because these games are so freaking long. So I think this is where Beans actually wants to be, because you can play like essentially 24 mana sources, which is great. But you can have 3 Wastelands, which are functionally kind of like spells / mana sources. But because this deck is so mana intensive, obviously Tamiyo belongs in the deck. Like I think it was a fool's errand to try to remove her and think the deck would still be as good. Tamiyo would have been absolutely insane against Reanimator, that match we lost. I don't even know if we ever cast the pest control, but yeah, Dress Down, like functionally very similar, but like in many ways way more flexible. Bowmaster, obviously good against Bowmaster, but not good against really anything else. Instead of playing Bowmaster to try to ping our X1 out of our Ocelot Pride or Critical Control deck, like why not just play a bunch of Terminus? Terminus is cracked. We can manipulate our deck. We can put it back on top and cast it a second time. Look no further than my channel to see lots of examples of Terminus being an insane Magic the Gathering card. It held up the Miracles archetype for years, right? Before Top was banned. And then, just like basically the same sideboard, except no Thoughtseize. Just play all 4 Force Negation. The card is really strong. And then, like, this is just so much simpler, frankly. You don't have the cute Velia that can potentially have a Riddler arrive ahead of schedule. I do think Riddler's good, but like, because Riddler just breaks open a game, I do think maybe this has too much card advantage. You could probably take a Riddler out and play an extra Murktide. I felt like Murktide was really good in the league. It just ends games and it's a giant wall. And a lot of times, like, your opponent will, like, had we gotten our Murktide to stick and had they not been able to get Atraxa out, like, we would have probably won that game. I think there was another game somewhere along the line where, like, basically Murktide almost got across the finish line. In terms of instants and sorceries, we only have 20, which is kind of low because we're playing so many enchantments and so many permanents. But I think it's probably fine. 3 Murktide might feel like too many, but I think it's totally fine. So this is one list. This is what I think is the good list. And then I'll show you the list that I think a lot of people probably want me to play because it's the classic list. So this is the more tempo-y list. Note the incomplete sideboard. I'm not sure, but if like I choose to go down this, and it'll be fully based on like people commenting on this video, like play the classic. If you want me to play the classic Bug Beans, I played this for like a year or so, and I had a great time with it. I have an incredible winning record with it in paper, but I just don't know that Daze and Wasteland are where you want to be right now in your control deck. But the beauty of this deck is, it protects Tamiyo extremely well with all the Dazes, and it removes opposing Tamiyos extremely well, and opposing Bowmasters with Witherbloom. So if you look, we've got like 8 ways to remove a Bowmaster. It's actually 12, and that's exactly the same number as our 5 color, or actually, no, we had 16 ways to remove a Bowmaster. It's crazy that we had 16 ways to remove a Bowmaster and we still couldn't remove it. No, wait, is that right? No, I think we just had 12 because we had the 4 Bowmasters, then we had 4 Plow and 4 Leyline. But this is just a really simple linear deck. Like, it's just kind of like a dumb deck. Like, okay, I'm going to get my beans out. Like, the question is, like, do I have beans? Okay, I need to resolve a beans. And then it becomes, okay, now I've got card advantage. How do I win? Which is usually just find Murktide, right? Murktide triggers beans as well, and it's just like an insane creature. I am playing 2 Brazen Borrowers here because it's really good against random things like Merit Lage, for example. I do think that 4 push 2 cut is like a great split. I don't worry about overly cannibalizing the graveyard between Murktide and Murderous Cut because we have Witherbloom, Daze. We're doing lots of stuff that puts lots of stuff in the graveyard. You may be thinking that like this is too few black sources and we should be playing a basic swamp, but in my experience, this is totally fine. You could play the Bayou, but consider that we're not actually playing the Mystic Sanctuary because there's not really anything to put on top with Mystic Sanctuary. Sometimes you could do that to like put a force on top. I actually think this would be fun to play, though. I might actually try this. Leave a comment if you'd like to see me try. I love Witherbloom Command. And they're actually printing a new card that is like a little too big in the new Strixhaven. I tweeted about it the other day, but I think it's going to be really good. Let me find it real quick. And I should say before I scroll to it, like if you don't like spoilers, stop watching right now. Just be excellent and party on. But if you want to see my spoiler and my quick analysis of why I think this card will be good, I'll show you. Okay, you've been warned. So, Witherbloom Charm, 1 black, 1 green. Choose 1. You may sacrifice a permanent. If you do, draw 2 cards. That's pretty good, especially if you're playing Hatchery. Or you gain 5 life. That's kind of a May ability. Meh, like not a May ability. I mean, you obviously have the option. You're casting it by your own volition and choosing that mode, so it is May. And then destroy target non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. That's pretty good. Like that's basically Witherbloom Command. It's the same mana value of Wither Bloom, but you only get one of the modes. You don't get both. But one of the modes is you can sacrifice a permanent and draw 2 cards, which is huge. Now, you note that it's like you may sacrifice a permanent if you do draw 2 cards. So you're putting this on the stack, and if your opponent removes the permanent you were about to sacrifice, then suddenly you're sacrificing something like you don't have to sacrifice it. So it's kind of like a nice, like I wish they wouldn't do this in design. They give you like an eject button. People should have to commit so they can get blown out, because that's like part of the fun of Magic is being able to blow people out and getting blown out yourself and realizing, damn, there's risk reward in this game. It's not just everybody, like every Lord effect is creatures you control are XYZ. Your opponents can't XYZ. I can't stand that. Like the old symmetrical design was so much better than all this like kind of like, oh, you may, like obviously you may sacrifice, like would you put this on the stack and then not sacrifice a permanent? Like you should have to sacrifice a permanent is my point. You should have to make a commitment, right? It's like old video games where you can like kind of like jump and then you can maneuver in air, which you can't really do because of physics, but like a game where you can kind of like jump and then you can like move back and forth and stuff like that. No, you should have to commit to your jumps. It's a critical aspect of games in my opinion. Okay. Anyway, I'm kind of old manning it, but yeah, I think this would be fun. I don't think that new Witherbloom will be good outside of Pox, but I am excited about it in Pox, just to let you know if somebody might be like, you should try the new Witherbloom. Like there aren't any permanents you want to sacrifice in this deck, but it will be good in Lone Pox, which I will definitely record a Lone Pox video once that's out. So I'm not sure how I'd round out the sideboard. I think frankly, like if you're playing a bunch of Thoughtseize, you need fewer forces. If you're playing Days, you need fewer forces. So I think actually this is totally fine. It could be that we want, in addition to Pernicious Deed, just like Pernicious Deed is fun and it's cute, and it's very good against like lands, for example. It would have been really good against there. But it may be that we just want to put Toxic Deluge in our deck. You definitely want some additional removal. You could play stuff like Void Mirror or Null Rod or something like that if you expect to go up against artifacts. But I think with a potential of 6 Wastelands in the deck, maybe you don't need that. And this deck does race a lot harder. So yeah, I think this would be pretty fun. I like the mana base a lot. I think it's fairly, it's only 19 lands with 4 of them waste. But if you look at it, like literally every land taps for blue except for the Wastelands, which is how you should do it, in my humble opinion. If you're only going to play 15 colored sources, every single one of them should tap for blue, which is why I don't have a basic swamp in the deck, which is why I don't have a Bayou in the deck. I don't even know that you necessarily need carpet. If you think about it, like everything is like 1 or 2 mana, and there's not really anything, like even if you did have carpet, what are you going to put the mana in? But I do think it's good enough to play as a 1-of, even in this. So anyway, I'll just leave it there. I would like to play with something like this, but I'm not convinced it'll hold up. The only kind of fire design new card that this deck is even playing is Tamiyo, and I will say that it's not the best Tamiyo shell, because like Tamiyo on her own and like blue-black tempo or my favorite blue-black control decks, like she is the only card draw engine really, right? Unless you consider Kaito a card draw, which she is. But like, do you really need alongside your 1 mana card draw engine, like another engine that requires splashing into green? Technically we're getting some Witherbloom for it, but yeah, it's questionable in my humble opinion. And I think that's one of the reasons Bean's fallen out of favor is like Tamiyo's really all you need in a lot of cases. And it's not worth splashing green just to have an extremely powerful card draw engine, but not necessarily one that is like, in many ways, it's almost kind of like win more. Because if you can just get Tamiyo out and generate enough clues, the fact that you're drawing massive cards from up the Beanstalk is less important. And Tamiyo, you can just play a super low curve like this, cast things like Murktide. And you know what this probably needs is some Baragoyf in the side. Let me go ahead and throw that in. And I'm not sure that I'll play this again because of the reasons. I've just spent like the last 2 or 3 minutes talking about why I don't think these decks work anymore. But I do think Baragoyf is very good, and like any black deck should probably have access to a couple of them in the sideboard. The other card you could include is just like a basic swamp. And that's like a Pokemon thing. Sometimes he'll include a basic swamp. And then if you're doing that, like you already have the Brazen Borrower, so maybe it's better to just have Snuff Outs in the side, since you're loaded to the ground tempo deck. And since you have Baragoyf to recoup the life loss anyway. Yeah, I think I'd probably cut Deed completely and just keep it really simple, like this. All right, well, I hope you've enjoyed this kind of like post-league brewing session. I had a great time. I love jamming Beans. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.